Yeah, I guess I can do a quick intro. So Sharon is Vice President at AtomicVC, and today she's going to be giving us a workshop on UI and UX. I guess without further ado, I'll hand it off to Sharon.
Hey guys. Hi everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm really excited to meet you all and chat with you a bit today about design. My name is Sharon. I'm Vice President at Atomic. Atomic is a venture studio, and I can give you a little bit of an overview of who we are and what we do maybe for the first 5 minutes. And I'd love to dig in a bit into, the design principles that we use, design principles I've used historically, and then we'll leave some time for questions. So to get started, my name is Sharon. Like I said, I am a serial entrepreneur now at AtomicVC, which is a venture studio. I'm originally from Los Angeles and now live in Miami. And I'm really enjoying Miami. If you guys haven't kind of considered Miami, it is a brand new tech hub and truly kind of blossoming in how tech is expanding over here. Atomic decided to open a headquarters in Miami about a year ago. And what Atomic is and what a venture studio is. So what Atomic is we're a venture studio that was pioneered or that was built 10 years ago. We pioneered the model, the venture studio model. And what a venture studio is kind of like half venture capital fund, half startup studio. And it's like both those concepts combined. It's a VC in that we raise a fund. We have a $300 million fund, and all that capital we only invest in companies we create from scratch, which is the studio portion. So most of the team at Atomic is all made of builders, entrepreneurs, designers, engineers, growth experts, marketers, all that. And there's about 60 of us. And we've built over 50 companies, just all of us, and have funded it ourselves all together. And these companies, they range from mobile apps and telemedicine to fintech apps to prop tech companies, that's like real estate tech, and some e-commerce, that sort of thing. We have companies that are in ideation mode all the way to being public and IPO. And what's unique is we're involved the whole way through. So as Vice President at Atomic, I really focus on the 0 to 1 phase, so the early stage, like ideation, finding the white space, like what's a good opportunity to dig into, then building out the wireframes and the product as a whole. So that's like the prototyping all the way to MVP, and then getting the company to launch and eventually a Series A funding round. And so that whole chunk is really what I'm in charge of and focus on at Atomic. And this presentation today is very relevant to my background because this is what I do every day, is I'm mocking up ideas, pitching ideas, talking about it internally, talking to customers about our ideas with like real mock-ups and prototypes. So I'll show you guys a process in which we do it. And also way back in my past, I actually was an industrial design major at Carnegie Mellon University. And I'm actually professionally trained to be a designer as well. And so all those things, I guess it also goes to show that what your major is, it can also evolve into different career paths in entrepreneurship. So as a designer, I had design and robotics background and human computer interaction. So gelling that all together, I'm not building hardware. I'm not just designing apps. I'm able to take that creativity and a bit of technical knowledge and build mobile apps every day. And that's really fun for me. So that's a high level of kind of who I am and why I'm here today. I'm really excited to chat with you all. And I want to show you today and really focus on really the tangibles on how do you go about designing and what tools you can actually use literally in 30 minutes from now, an hour from now, when we get off this call or off this Zoom, you guys can go jump in and make your own designs live. And so that's my goal, to get you guys into like actionable steps. So for the process I'd love to go over today, it's kind of a 4-step process, and there's tools that are involved for each of those. The design process kind of starts off always with some sort of a sketch. So get good old pen and paper out and let your ideas flow, be very fluid with them, and the ability to have this sort of no barriers, no boundaries to how you can write on the page and kind of think about it out loud and get your ideas on paper. That's critical. Then going into wireframe, which is a bit more rigid. You're using a computer, you're using boxes and circles and triangles and just really rigid shapes to like plot out the page and understand what the layout is going to be. You're going to focus on what the information hierarchy is. So the term information hierarchy is a design term that is often used in order to talk about, what is the core message you're trying to get across? Not a verbal message, but when you open an app, let's think like Snapchat, for example. Snapchat immediately opens into the camera. Why? They're making the core focus and the information, the hierarchy, that capturing content is most important versus when you're opening Instagram, for example. They want you to explore content. They actually want you to digest content more than they want you to create content. And so thinking of those behaviors and thinking of how you're positioning your product, whether it's an app, a desktop, like dashboard, whatever, website, whatever it may be. When people land on there, what do you want them to see first? What do you want them to click on first? Don't give them 18 buttons and say, they'll like read through and figure it out. People are lazy. They don't do it. When you guys scroll on your phone, probably before falling asleep, once you wake up, kind of in between classes, but you're not always with your full attention. So what can you make an obvious interactions with people, like go immediately, there's one button, let me click here to move next and create some sort of behavior. Then digging into designing. I would love to know each of your backgrounds, but I don't know that we'd have time today to go through each of them. So I will say this, it doesn't matter if you're an engineer, finance background, lawyer, I don't care what. I have tools for you to help you kind of output really nice designs, polished designs. There's a lot of resources online that can help you do that. And today we'll go through it. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, once you have your designs in place, you're happy with them, or you're okay with them, right? They get the message across. You have something, to show visually. How do you make them a bit more interactive? And this is before you code things, before you bring engineering into the mix. How do you have something that's a bit interactive, like a clickable prototype or clickable mockup that you can show users and do a few user interviews before you invest time in really the bulk of it, which is engineering? And so being really, really, really scrappy in the startup phase, when you're still ideating and trying to figure out what's product market fit, what you should be building, design is your friend here. You can mock things up really fast, especially with the tools that are available nowadays, and put in front of users immediately, and it can give you indication, an early signal if you're on the right path or if you need to adjust a bit. And this is the phase where most of the creativity happens and most of the ideating happens. So this is almost also an ideating presentation as well, because this is kind of the process we do at Atomic to figure out what direction we should take something. So first and foremost, I will say this, some of these images are from online because all the stuff that I do at Atomic is highly confidential. We keep it under wraps, what we're working on. I currently am working on 9 companies within Atomic myself. These companies are anywhere from, stage 0 to a series A. And there's a lot of fun stuff we work on, but these are the exact processes we do. So when you start sketching, or the very like the beginning part when we're talking about sketching, this is how all of my notebooks look, literally like this. Giant scratches and X's over things. I'm like, oh no, that's not it. I don't start from scratch. I don't try and make it polished or beautiful. I try to think and get all your ideas out there. So start with a blank page and a pen. A pen is really nice because it makes it permanent. You're not worried about erasing things and like moving things. If something doesn't work, scribble, 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 scribble. You either make a new box next to it or you write on top of it with like, a little bit on top of it in smaller font. Kind of like, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but kind of like this middle one where it says welcome graphic, there's a big X between it. In this phase, it's really important to get all your ideas out, as many ideas as possible, just on how you're thinking about the product, whether it's a mobile app, which you can see to the right, or to the left, where it's more of a website flow. Where are buttons needed, plotting out like what are the buttons you need in order for people to navigate, thinking about what are the titles of each section and like the wording of each section, right? What are the key messages that you're trying to get across in big blocky text? Where's the navigation bar? That's something to think about, right? How are people going to navigate through this product? Are they going to be clicking on a navigation bar at the bottom, like a mobile app navigation bar? If you're talking about a mobile app, there's also the opportunity to have a hamburger bar in the top corner. or maybe the ability to swipe left and right, and then they can like get additional kind of access to more information. So thinking about navigation in this portion, thinking about layout, thinking about blocks of places, and letting all the ideas flow out. Then you'll dive into a little bit more structured wireframing. And my favorite tool for this is called Whimsical. Whimsical is free. So I chose that one. There's a handful of tools you can use. You know, I've used in the past Whimsical. I've used Balsamic is another product. I think it's $89. So, and I think Whimsical is a little bit better. So I recommend Whimsical. You can even use Google Slides or Google Drive's like draw feature. You can do this on any of those platforms. You just need to be able to drag and drop like squares and think of like bigger kind of chunks that consolidate what your sketches were. And then here you start filling out text, right? Start typing out text, start thinking of where you might put icons, visuals, thinking about the proportions of things. This is the exact place you want to do that. So before in sketching, you're thinking about like blocks of like where you need to have content in the hierarchy. Now here you're refining it in this wireframe. You're refining it to sizes and text, literally like a lot more in like sections. So a lot more of this detail. If I go, I think you're only sharing this. I want to kind of open up in a second. Bear with me. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to stop sharing and come back to sharing right now. I want to show you Whimsical. So this, for example, is Whimsical. It's their wireframing feature. When you go into Whimsical, and let me delete this. Let me go back so you can see a bit. So once you go into Whimsical, you'll see all these options on kind of ways in which you can, things you can mock up. So you'll click wireframe. Let's name our wireframe HackDuke. And here over here, you have your, it's very simple and straightforward to kind of understand. I start off with adding a frame here always. What do we want to be designing for? Is it a website? So it's a window, or is it a mobile app? Is it a tablet? Let's go with mobile app. You can then block in, and you already have that sort of simplistic format of that, like that blank canvas. And you'll be able to come over here and actually start incorporating different shapes, different images, so on. Maybe text, our, let's call it dog walker express. I don't know. This is like the title. Start blocking out shapes. Add elements, so like a rectangle, and here maybe there's an image. And so continuing to do that and kind of really blocking things out exactly as you imagine them, so you can start kind of getting a visual sense for it. So that's kind of how I'd use Whimsical from the wireframing version. The wireframing version is critical because then you can do a lot more tweaks. If you go straight from sketching into design, you're going to lose a lot of the ability to be creative, a lot of the thought process that is needed in order to make a really effective design. All right, awesome. And then you take into the design phase, which I think is like one of the most fun phases. Once you have a really good idea of where your buttons are going to be and where your images are going to be and icons are going to be, now we have to make those elements. And like I said, I don't expect everyone in the room to be a designer, to be a trained designer. You don't have to be a trained designer. I'm a trained designer. I still use these hacks. So I want to kind of show you guys a bit of hacks, for example, that you might be able to lean on. So when you get to this high fidelity, this is pretty advanced. There's actually a lot of templates and resources you can use online and manipulate those templates in order to get really nice designs that you don't have to create from scratch. There's a lot of free templates. Let me see if it didn't share with you guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to do my entire screen. Okay. You see my entire screen? Okay, cool. So for example, so here's our, Sorry, guys, bear with me. Okay, here's our designs. All right, so yeah, using Figma, there's different templates you can use. If you guys Google free Figma mobile app templates, for example, or free Figma website templates, you'll find a handful of these templates that you can use. And here's an example of one of them. So when I Googled free Figma templates, let's say mobile app templates. There's a handful of these. I was digging through them a little bit earlier to see what kind of pops up. I think this is one of the ones I had clicked on. Again, make sure it's not spam, make sure it's not anything that would be dangerous. But you can click around and find different templates that you can use. This was one that I clicked on and was using for actually the site that I was showing you guys. So once you have this, you'll be able to, you can click get it now. It'll open you into sort of a dribble page. Let me make this smaller. There's a button where you can download it. I think I had already downloaded it. That's why I cannot download it again, perhaps. I'm not sure. Let's see. This is okay. So I had downloaded already. I apologize. I can't show you how I download it. Oh, here it is. My bad. You can download it over here. It'll come up in your downloads, and then you open Figma. And when you open Figma, what's really nice is you have this button where you can import a file. And you're able to import what we just found as the template. Let's press done. And again, there's so many templates, so many different ones you can choose from if you like a kind of darker background or a lighter background. Let me see where I can find it now. Uploaded it. There we go. This is the one we had just downloaded. See, it's from here. We had download, and now it's here. Now you have, and you can actually play around with it. So it might not be the exact, let's say you like the design, but you don't want to, like you want to remove elements, move elements, you can play around with it a lot more, but at least you have a base of what you can work with and how you can play around with it. And so depending on what you're looking for, I would get like a template that is close enough to what you're kind of looking to build out. And then you can go ahead and modify things to make it match the style that you're looking for. Maybe you want to do something like this. Kind of make it a shorter frame. I want to add some of these elements, for example. There I go. Move them down here. And I get to that way manipulate designs that already exist and are kind of based together. Another thing that I really, really like to do, or that is another hack that is worth you guys knowing, is there's also icon kits that you guys can download from online. Icon kits are incredibly helpful, especially when you want to kind of add some flair. So if you go free Figma icon kit, or icon pack, maybe both of them work. You can find lots of different places where they give you kind of free icons. You can find the style that really fits your mold. Let's see this one. I haven't clicked on this one yet. This is kind of cute. See, there's all different types of backgrounds. Ooh, this one's really fun. All different ones based on, ooh, I like that. Let's see this glass icon. Get it now. Ooh, this is so cool. Let's see. Let me see, there's a download link. There might not be. You kind of have to look around and find the one. Oh, here, duplicate. So you're able to, once you press duplicate, it comes straight into your Figma. You go to icon library over in this corner, and then you have all these really, really swanky icons. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Both in dark mode and in light mode, or on dark and a light background. And let's say I want to use this icon, I'll copy it and I can move it into here. Well, here, all I did was paste essentially. Allow. And I don't know where I want here. Here it is. So here's the icon that I just found. Come on, grow bigger. Oh man, he doesn't want to grow. I don't know what's going on, but I will figure that out later. But basically you can drop these icons in now and play around with them and have them. So maybe I want to swap out this icon to go, I don't know, next to heart rate. It's not really behaving right now, but yeah, but essentially being able to play around with existing kits of icons and existing kind of templates of design. This is a great way to mock things up during your guys' hackathon potentially, and be able to actually have representative designs to what you guys are trying to craft. So that is, that's from the design perspective of how I go about kind of designing it. And then lastly, making it interactive. So making it interactive is one of the more fun parts. Once you have a design that's all pieced together, the way you like it stylistically, I'd use the interactive portion to create a mock-up and something that either is a clickable prototype or something you can actually put in users' hands, or show your friends or whatnot, something that's presentable, in order for you to be able to get some feedback, some real feedback before you go into engineering or development of the app or website or product. So my favorite tool is using Envision app. Personally, it's really easy. It's drag and drop, and you can add all of your mockups into there, and you can have specific buttons be clicked on, and it actually moves on to the next page, that sort of thing. I'm sure many of you guys have seen it. Figma does have the same capabilities. At Atomic, we actually use Figma's interactive tool. Our designers use that. I'm not personally as well versed with it, but our designers love to use it because it is a very, very real mockup. And then Whimsical, if you go back to Whimsical and you want something a little less techy, a little less high tech, you can just put your designs inside of like iPhone frames and just have it as static frames and actually show the customer journey on Whimsical, for example. So let me show you what I mean by defining the customer journey. Sharon's workspace. Let me go to something a bit more. Let's show you this because I don't want to show anything specific Atomic, something more like this. We're able to kind of have all the frames one by one and kind of showing them in order form so you can see what the flow looks like. Let's see if I have another one. I don't think I do. Let me see, maybe it's, no. I'm doing this, but like with sharing screens. But again, I don't have any of them that I can share right now. But that's at a high level. That's how I'd go about designing these elements. That's how I go about designing really rapidly and keeping it iterative. And I think this is a great, these sort of mockups are also really great to include in your pitch decks and your presentations, including the like interactive form of them if you want to turn them into a GIF or whatnot, so that they can actually be seen on your presentations. So that's that as a whole. I'd love to spend some time answering questions, digging in with you guys maybe about specific examples of kind of work you guys are working or items you guys are working on. So I'd love to get a little bit of a take from you on what excites you, what specifically you want to hear about, and I'm happy to answer questions. Anything about prototyping, designing, or even what does it look like in the early stage of building a company. Are there any questions I can help with? Or I just love to hear what you guys are working on potentially this weekend. All right. I think everyone got a quiet crowd out here. I'm happy to give you guys more details, explain a bit more, or kind of help you through your guys's prototypes, designs, mock-ups, even throughout the weekend. I've left my email below, so you guys can reach out if you have any questions. And yeah, I'm happy to go from there.
Feel free to like send messages and questions in the chat as well for all of our virtual participants.
Awesome. Guys, I'm really excited for you guys to hack things together. Maybe as a last piece of advice, and then I guess we can wrap up. At Atomic, something that we love to see, and me personally, that I love to see on people's resumes, is entrepreneurial experience. And that doesn't have to be you guys creating companies, of your own. Maybe it's things like this sort of hackathon, being able to innovate and kind of build things on the fly, and including these projects on your resume. I think they're incredibly powerful and incredibly kind of telling of what you guys are able to do and build for the jobs you'll be looking for the internships you'll be looking for. That's one thing we primarily look at Atomic, is some sort of entrepreneurial or like building experience. And so don't discount these things, do a lot more of them. They're so valuable, so important. And we love to see them on resumes. So keep it up.
Cool. Yeah, if there aren't any other questions, thank you, Sharon, and I guess we get a round of applause from everyone here in person. It give us some ideas on how we can get started with our projects for this week.
Awesome. Very cool. Excited, guys. Good luck.
Well, thank you so much.